I want to share with you just one story, I have many, of a young mom that I've been supporting for a number of years. She travels in and out of Surrey at times, but Surrey is definitely her home. And when she comes back to Surrey, she always reaches out to her home, which is Growing Together. On 2 years ago, just before Christmas, she arrived at Christmas dinner at the daycare with our families. It's a big event we have every year for all of the families involved at the daycare program. And she fell into my arms in tears. She was struggling so much in the suite that she was renting. She was fearful that the landlord was entering her suite in the evening when she was sleeping. He was coming into the suite during the day when she was there with her child, and she was terrified to return back to her suite. She lives alone at 16 years old, raising her child who requires extra support, and she was terrified to go home that night. With the help of myself and Tammy Dyer, also one of our 50 Women of Options, we drove around after Christmas dinner and searched basement suites that would be appropriate for her to move into. I think we viewed 4 suites that evening, and finally on the 4th suite, we found a place that she could call home. That being said, we definitely did not want her to go back to the suite that she felt so unsafe in that evening. So we supported her in finding a safe place to live for the next 2 days, while we could muster everybody together to get all the help that we needed to get her moved. The next day was my Christmas hamper delivery day. So if any of you know what that can look like, I rent a 5-ton truck and deliver 30 Christmas hampers to young families in Surrey that require some extra support at Christmas time. It is one of the happiest days of the year for me. I love Christmas, and I love being able to bring that joy to all of the families that I work with. Thankfully, at the end of that delivery day, which is a long day for me, I was able to get a hold of the delivery of the company that we rent the vehicle from and ask them if we could keep it just for one more day. I explained to them the situation, that I had a young mom that I was working with that was in a dire place and needed to move immediately. They did some shuffling around, they called me back and they said, "Nichole, the truck is yours." I said, "Thank you." At that point, the very next day, with support from our entire agency, I had youth services helping, I had Tammy helping, finance, cutting checks. We had even gotten a hold of the local police detachment because we were fearful of the move and what was happening in the home, and they had suggested to us that we get her out ASAP. So there was Fraser Health nurse helping look after the child. Not ideal, but we used anything and everything we could possibly find to put all of her belongings into, to move into the back of this truck. I have to tell you, it was heaving down rain that day. It couldn't have been one of the toughest days to move somebody, but we all pulled together and we got through it. From finance to deputy directors, to myself, to Fraser Health, to our local police department, to our MCFD office, who was also helping get checks cut for the landlord, to even our volunteers that work with us through TELUS and her husband, who showed up at the other end to move everything out of the moving truck into her space. If that's not collaboration and an amazing agency, I don't know what is. And it really is truly what makes me so proud to be a part of Options Community Services.